It is Black History Month, and throughout the month of February, we're highlighting the history across the St. Louis metro area.
This morning, we're headed to Illinois, and Sydney Stallworth is live in Cahokia Heights with the story of a groundbreaking freedom suit that a lot of people may not have heard about. Sydney?
Michelle, Rennie, that's exactly right. We're here at the Jarrot Mansion in Cahokia Heights, now a state historic site. But back in the 1840s, it was home to a man named Pete, one of the many slaves or indentured servants considered property of the Jarrot family. But Pete sued for his freedom and changed Illinois history.
He was the vanguard of this case that basically outlaws slavery in totality for the entire state of Illinois.
We know it now as the land of Lincoln, but Illinois' stance on slavery hasn't always been so firmly planted against it.
A servant for life, how is that any different than an enslaved individual?
It's the same question Joseph Pete Jarrot asked himself after decades of living in servitude. In 1843, he brought that question to the St. Clair County Court.
Suing not only for his freedom, but suing for back wages owed to him as a worker or as an individual here in the Jarrot family.
But Julia Jarrot claimed Pete was a slave, descended from a woman who she said was also a slave in Illinois before the passage of the Northwest Ordinance, and so Pete wasn't entitled to any wages.
In 1787, the United States, this is the Articles of Confederation, passes a law called the Northwest Ordinance, which basically outlaws slavery north of the Ohio River. Illinois is north of the Ohio River. So slavery should not exist at all anywhere here in Illinois.
So to keep slaves, the law was tweaked in 1818, cementing the changes in the 1818 Illinois State Constitution. Illinois entered the Union that year as a technically free state on paper. So essentially, Illinois was operating in a loophole.
Laws were created to sidestep the word slave and call them indentured servants.
Those laws in the 1818 Constitution said it was legal to hold a person as an indentured servant for life, and that, quote, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall hereafter be introduced in the state. That word hereafter grandfathered in slavery and meant slaves who already lived in the state would not be freed. Pete argued this was wrong.
The original case was heard in Belleville. The court favored or ruled in favor of Pete's master, Julia.
But Pete appealed, and in 1845 his case was taken before the Illinois Supreme Court.
But the court ruled that in accordance with the Northwest Ordinance of 1787, slavery cannot exist in any form.
In 1848, the Illinois Constitution was changed to reflect the ruling. Pete's impact permanently etched into history and holding America accountable to its own declaration that all men are created equal.
I think it's incredible to imagine what it must have been like to take those first steps, to try to cross the river, to sue, to win your freedom. Thank goodness that they did.
The influence of Pete's case stretched far beyond the state of Illinois. One of his attorneys ended up being a crafter of the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which abolished slavery nationwide. In Cahokia Heights, I'm Sydney Stallworth, 5 on your side.